guys, so today I'm going to be doing a review video and discussion for the Flash 100th episode. I hope you enjoy.
Go back to the past to defeat Cicada in the future.
If I do this, I'm going back to some crazy time. Savitar, Dawn, Zoom.
And who is this?
I knew we shouldn't have done this.
Things just got a lot more complicated.
I knew we shouldn't have done this.
The Flash is taking a trip down memory lane for his 100th episode, directed by cast member Tom Cavanagh. What's past is prologue. Find Barry Allen, played by Grant Gustin, traveling back in time to collect items and artifacts the team needs to assemble a weapon that will defeat Cicada, played by Chris Klein, in the present day. Along the way, fans were surprised by some touching moments, bombshells, and cameos by various long-standing rogues. 100 episodes is a milestone for any series, but trying to wrap up the timey-wimey storytelling of 100 episodes worth of The Flash is a really difficult task. What's past is prologue elevated the idea of the clip to show to a Speed Force race through the series' greatest hits, seemingly under the guise of Nora seeing the truth behind the Flash Museum by what the Flash Museum has always told her. Barry wasn't always confident. In fact, he rarely is, and when he is, he's usually wrong. Iris played a bigger role than she's given credit for, and Eobard Thawne was in fact responsible for the murder of Nora Allen. But what's past this prologue was really about ultimately was traveling through the Flash's various versions of Harrison Wells, a man who will again play an integral role in the show moving forward. Of course, there were 3 different endings to the 100th episode of The Flash. One was obviously expected, of course, setting up the Elseworlds crossover with the introduction of the Monitor and the revival of John Wesley Shipp's Flash on Earth 90, which was obviously a callback to Shipp playing the character in the 1990 series. And another was a genuinely really adorable moment between Barry and Nora when Nora challenged her old man to a speedster race after they spent a moment watching Barry's parents together in happier times in the past. However, the third ending unfortunately revealed that Nora's Speed Force language that was discovered in the 100th episode has been about communicating with a future version of Harrison Wells in 1949. I had so many questions about who that Harrison Wells was until it was revealed to be the Crisis X version of Wells. I mean, what is Nora hiding? Why is she working with that Wells? Or Thawne? More on that later, but first we need to address the ending that we didn't get to see. You see, what's past in prologue used this idea of going back in time to collect dark matter artifacts as a way to defeat Cicada, the villain, for this season. We know his origin story now, why he's so angry, and his kill all the metas plan, including killing himself now that he's a meta. It seems like a great time to actually defeat him in this episode, with all of Team Flash there working together with the plan that Barry and Nora raced through time to execute. It would close the book on this first half of the season, while also beginning a new Eobard Thawne-led story to finish things out. But no, after all that work to get Cicada's dagger out of his hand, he just recalled it from outer space thanks to Vibe shipping it, but unfortunately he got it back, and took off to battle Team Flash another day. What that moment did do was bring back Killer Frost, who is not, as we now know, as the result of the particle accelerator explosion in Season 1, and therefore able to surprise Cicada with her powers, and that's okay, fine, but it still feels like a majorly missed opportunity to not drag this villain out through the rest of the season. And as for Eobard Thawne, well, this was really a Tom Cavanaugh episode. I mean, he directed it. He's a fantastic guy. He's a fantastic actor and director. He did so well directing previous episodes. And he did a double duty as a variety. He played double duty as a variety of Wells through time. It was really, truly chilling to see the returns of Harrison Wells' Ubar Thawne version from Earth 1, knowing who he is, and him able to feel the disturbance of the Speed Force as Barry and Nora enter his timeline. And it was so nice to see Harry, the Wells from Earth 2, another very compelling iteration of this character who, like Wells Ubard, mostly acts as an unfortunate reminder that the last few Wells, particularly Sherlock, have been unnecessary and even unfortunate additions to the team. Basically, remember when the Wells were really interesting and not just characters based on an accent? Not only seeing all the Wells were fantastic, we also got to see Zoom, Savitar, and DeVoe. Some of the reminders of the Flash's past were great, particularly seeing Teddy Sears again in what seemed like a new footage. But the return of Thawne, along with several other time travel elements of the mid-season finale, also brought up some uncomfortable questions about the show's logic. For one, suits don't seem necessary as a protective measure for that rate of speed that allows for time travel. And remember when Barry actually had to eat a ton to counteract that amount of Speed Force uses on his body? And secondly, and more egregiously, the West Islands are pretty much immune to time race. Nora can spend as much time as she wants in the past, much like Barry did in Flashpoint, without any fear of the race. But if Zoom, who is still terrifying, decides to overstep his own time boundaries, well, yup. Ubar Thawne, like most Wellsian moments of the show, there is both good and bad here. Wells Ubard is the best Wells in the show. And it might be great to have him back, especially with Nora acting as a naive agent and then the eventually emotional explosion that will occur when Barry and Iris finds out. He is a fantastic, really great villain. One the show is probably right to come back to, even though Legends of Tomorrow used him to great effect in between, although it remains to be seen how his return is explained. Besides, time travel is so weird. I mean, the absolute most chilling part of the 100th episode was the relatively quiet scene between Ubar Thawne's Wells and Season 1 Cisco. In the space of one scene, we get a painful reminder just how dangerous Thawne is as the episode called back to one of Season 1's scenes that doesn't make it into this walk down memory lane. That time, Thawne puts his hand through a heartbroken Cisco's chest. It does more than make us downright terrified of what Thawne could do, moving forward than any explicit threat could. And yet, as the show has tried to get away from evil speedsters as villains, after the problem with Savitar in particular, I mean, what a mess that was. It seems like we're right back into it. The series' 5th season has course-corrected a lot of the previous issues to a good effect. But what's past this prologue was not a fine hour, even though I consider it one of the best episodes Flash can have. One has to ask, at what point will we have enough Wells? The legacy of the Flashpoint 100th episode is less about Barry defeating a host of dangerous villains thanks to Team Flash family, or learning to competently harness his powers. He still hasn't really learned that, obviously, but about the impact various Wells through time has had on things. Having Wells Ubard return is very promising, and it's only because it reminds us of the show's wonderful, fantastic first season. But are we just chasing a ghost? Maybe now is a good time for a time race to remind us that we can't go back to the past. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.